Autonomy is an illusion. Autonomy is an illusion.
Welcome to another show, sexy dudes and dudettes. It's Fans of the Week with your hosts,
Derf
and that's my line, Dylan. No, sorry, my bad. Forgot how that went earlier. Derf and Dylan. That's how. Okay, yep, those are our names. Yeah, this is episode 16 of Fans of the Week, everybody's favorite Seahawks and Bills podcast. We just closed out week 15. And boy, we're closing up on this season rapidly. Holy cow.
Why are they going to end so quick?
It's like week 1 and 2 get here, and you're like, oh man, we have a whole season to look forward to. Oh my gosh,
Right.
It's only the first week. And then like week 16 gets here, 17, you're just like, oh my God. It goes so fast. So fast.
Right.
And especially for teams like the Seahawks, it will be over in a mere 3 weeks. Bills fans have something a little bit more to look forward to after they clinched a playoff spot this past Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks fans are currently on the outside looking in. I don't think they're going to get in. The bouncers kind of got them, the bouncer put them in the back of the line. Like, you just, you can look, but get the fuck away from me. Yeah, that's kind of how that's looking right now.
Right.
I kind of wanted to start out the show real quick to go over some Pro Bowl rosters, because those are dropping like literally as we speak. I'm getting tweets from people about the Pro Bowl rosters being dropped. So, just real quick, we'll start off with that. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. If we take a quick look at the NFC side of things, we'll look. I haven't even looked through this yet. I've only seen pretty much the quarterbacks and running backs. I have not seen anyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious if there's other Seahawks in here. There is one Seahawk. Geno Smith is going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. I think that's rightful. I feel like he's deserved that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a pretty good season. It's slowed down here in the past quarter, obviously. But I feel like the NFC is a pretty weak conference, as we've discussed many times on this show. Dak Prescott didn't make... I'm just looking through the NFC right now. Like, the 49ers haven't had enough healthy quarterbacks to even go. The Rams, absolutely not. Kyler Murray, no. Tom Brady, no. The Saints, nobody. Nobody from the Panthers. Nobody from the Falcons. Kirk Cousins made it. Aaron Rodgers has been very underwhelming. Jared Goff, maybe, man. I don't, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been better than Geno.
I'm surprised Rodgers and Brady didn't get the popularity contest in this.
I feel like no amount of popularity would have pushed Brady into there. But maybe Rodgers I could have saw. Maybe.
Right.
But I don't think Green Bay Packers fans know how to vote. I don't think they know how the system works. They don't. I don't think they get the internet up there in the tundra. So they weren't able to vote. Yeah, they're still on dial-up. It's too slow to keep up with the voting process. Justin Fields is another option, I guess. I mean, he's only been playing well for maybe like the past half of the season here. He started out very poorly.
Right.
Taylor Heineke, no. Daniel Jones, and then Dak Prescott, no. So, I mean, I guess out of the NFC, those are probably your 3 best quarterbacks in the NFC. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And then you got Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, and Miles Sanders are your running backs. And Kyle Juszczyk is the fullback. Tony Pollard getting in and not Zeke it's correct, but it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
I just sit here and laugh about it because, even Jerry Jones is still like, nope, Zeke's our guy. When you damn well know that you have a much better running back behind Zeke right now, that you're only paying like an eighth of what you're paying Zeke. And he's not gonna let Zeke go. And all you have to do is look at the Pro Bowl roster, and that tells you all you need to know. For the receivers, we have Justin Jefferson, obviously, A.J. Brown, yes, C.D. Lamb. Okay, I guess so. And Terry McLaurin. Okay. I feel like with CD and Terry, that might be popularity kicking in. I'm not sure. I
Probably,
don't.
most likely, yeah.
I think CD's been having a pretty good season. I don't know about Mr. McLaurin. I don't know about that. For the tight ends, it's very slim picking, so you're pretty much going to get the same guys every single year, which we do, which is George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson. Offensive tackles, Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Tristan Wirfs. That's all fine with me. Zach Martin, Landon Dickerson, and Chris Lindstrom. Sure, fine, whatever. Centers, Jason Kelsey, obviously. Frank Ragnow of the Lions. On defense, you got Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, and DeMarcus Lawrence. All fine with that. Aaron Donald is your interior with Jonathan Allen and Dexter Lawrence. I think didn't Dexter Lawrence just get hurt this past week? Maybe not. I don't know. I think I was thinking of someone else. Oh, I'm thinking of Quentin Williams, I think. Your linebackers are going to be Micah Parsons, Zadarius Smith, and Hassan Reddick. I was looking for, Fred Warner and Demario Davis are your inside linebackers. So we don't have a Bobby Wagner this year. No Bobby Wagner. That's upset. That's a little upsetting.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Maybe if you stay with Seattle, he'd be here. Darius Slay, Trayvon Diggs, Tariq Woolen, and Jair Alexander will be our corners. Yeah, that's great to see Tariq in there. Good for him. He officially made it. Very happy to see that.
He did.
I very much disagree with this. Quandre Diggs, Seattle Seahawk, is going to be our free safety. There's got to be better free safeties out there. Quandre Diggs has been ass this year. Like, he has been complete booty cheeks.
They couldn't have picked like Patrick Peterson or Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, they got Buda Baker and
or
Hufanga for the 49ers
Simmons.
as your strong safeties. Yeah, there had to be better options at free safety. That's awful. Quandre Diggs does not deserve to be there. Coming from a Seahawks fan, Quandre Diggs does not deserve to be the Pro Bowl free safety. Sorry, bud. That's gonna be my opinion there. Sorry, bud. The punter is gonna be Tress Way from Washington. Jason Myers from the Seahawks will be the kicker, so that's fun. We got 3 Seahawks or 4. We got 4 Seahawks in the Pro Bowl. That's fun. Cavante Turpin will be the return specialist, and the special teamer will be Jeremy Reeves. I guess we just get 1 special teamer. Okay.
That's
sure.
all you need.
It's like just have 1 guy out there on kickoff. So like, what? Okay, sure. So we got 4 Seahawks. That's fun. You're probably going to have to keep count for me as we read the AFC Pro Bowl rosters of how many Bills we
all
see.
right.
Quarterbacks, we obviously are going to have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow. So there's 1.
Yep.
And do they list this, you think, in order of votes? You think Patrick Mahomes?
I think so. Because Patrick is the starter.
Oh, he's denoted as the starter. Yeah, I just saw that.
So, yeah.
So Patrick Mahomes is still getting 1 step up on Josh Allen, even in the Pro Bowl.
Hey, who cares about the Pro Bowl when it's Super Bowl that matters?
Right, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. One of them probably won't even be playing in this game, most likely. Hopefully it's Josh Allen, but
yeah.
Not to be a
I
dick.
hope so.
You never know.
You never know.
Running backs, we got Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, and Derrick Henry. That's pretty obvious. Patrick Ricard is the fullback from the Ravens. We got some more AFC rivalry stuff here with wide receivers. You got Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs will be the 2 starters, with Devontae Adams and Jamar Chase also being there. You okay with that? Or would you rather see Gabe Davis in there? A little Isaiah McKenzie, maybe?
No. Diggs is clearly Diggs is him. He's clearly wide receiver 1 on that Bills team, so
that's fair.
He's well deserved.
We have tight ends Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. I feel like that's strictly popularity. I think there have been better tight ends out there than Mark Andrews this season, which I think is just a systematic issue. There is a big passing problem in Baltimore, and it used to just affect the wide receivers. Now this season, I think it's affecting him as well. So I'm sure there's better tight ends out there, at least based off of this season, but it's Mark Andrews, so you kind of just put him in there. Whatever.
Right.
You have Laramie Tunsil, Teron Armstead, and Orlando Brown as your tackles. Joel Bitonio from the Browns. And Quentin Nelson and Joe Thuney as your guards. Centers, you got Creed Humphrey and Mitch Morris from the Bills. So that's we're up to 3.
Yeah. Up to 3.
Mitch Morris, okay. On the defensive side of the ball, we have Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and Trey Hendrickson as the defensive ends. I have no issues with any of that, except I think Trey Hendrickson just got hurt this past week, so that might muddy the waters. Interior lineman Chris Jones, Quentin Williams, who is definitely hurt. That's who I was thinking of before. And Jeffrey Simmons will be your inside lineman. Outside linebackers Matthew Judon, Khalil Mack, TJ Watt. I got no problems with that. Middle linebackers Roquan Smith and CJ Mosley. Wow, no Matt Milano, huh?
Oh, just disappointed there, but understandably, but Matt Milano doesn't jump over the line of scrimmage on 4th down.
Hey, before the ball's even snapped. That's very true. Very true. We have Sauce Gardner as the lead corner. Sauce Gardner is so cringe. But he's like cringe in the opposite direction of Russell Wilson. Like Russell Wilson's cringe because he's like team first, blah, blah, blah. Sauce Gardner is cringe because he's literally going on Twitter, like yelling at Jets fans, saying, "You're not voting for me enough. I'm not even the lead Pro Bowl corner right now. Vote for me." That is cringe as fuck. Like, he's not even that good. I'll say it. He's not even that good. He gets away with more pass interference calls than anyone in the league, and it gets passed off as good coverage. Yikes. Right. But we do have Pat Surtain in here from the Broncos with Marlon Humphrey and Xavier Howard. Free safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick. I don't know. I haven't been following the Steelers that closely. I don't know what kind of season he's been having. He's a good safety. I just don't know if it's been this year. Interesting. And then we got the strong safeties are Derwin James and Jordan Poyer of the Bills.
Yeah.
You're going to have your long snapper, Morgan Cox, Tommy Townsend of the Chiefs as the punter, Justin Tucker as the kicker, Devin Duvernay, return specialist, Justin Hardy, special teamer. So the Bills got 4 Pro Bowlers, huh?
They also got 4, yeah.
So we both have 4. Very interesting.
Good turnout. Could be more that get nominated, but hopefully not, because that'll mean the Bills are in the Super Bowl. So,
are you up? Is there anyone missing? You think anyone that you're like, oh man, how the heck is this person not in there? Besides Matt Milano, since we kind of covered Matt.
Besides Matt Milano, I wish I would have saw maybe Rousseau.
Okay, yeah.
I think he stepped up a lot in the last
think with
couple
the
weeks,
edge defenders,
that's the problem, though.
Like he had some stout competition at the edge, though.
Right.
It changed it up. Oh God, what is this format? I don't want to read all of this. Ew. What? Before it was just a list. Now it's like giving me like a breakdown of everyone. No thanks. I'm not reading through that. No, I liked it before. Go back. Hit the rewind button. It was like Matthew Judon, TJ Watt. I mean, that's some tough competition there. But I would agree though. He has turned out very nicely, especially since Vaughn went down.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to say anything for the Seahawks. I think we're lucky to have 4 people in there. If Charles Cross or Abe Lucas would have stuck in there, I thought that would have been cool. But outside of that, DK, Tyler, no. Pretty much no one on defense. Everyone on defense. Maybe Uchenna Nwosu. Maybe he could have snuck in as a pass rusher. He's had a pretty gosh darn good year.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he's been on a defense that's generally pretty underwhelming hurt his chances.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You don't want Cody Barton on there?
Oh my gosh, Cody Barton! What an absolute disappointment. Cody Barton didn't make it on the Pro Bowl roster. I don't know how that happened. I'm gonna go protest in the streets. Teams without a Pro Bowler. Let's see here. We have the Bears and Jaguars. Is it? There was two tweets here. Hold on, I'll make sure I get it. Oh no, that was just Pro. So teams without a Pro Bowler is the Bears and the Jaguars. They got some tough competition there at wide receiver, but I mean, like DJ Chark and Christian Kirk, both of them had pretty good years. I'm thinking they were probably right there on the edge.
Yeah.
But the Bears, Justin Fields was probably your only chance of getting a Pro Bowler in there. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, yeah, because they let Roquan Smith go and the other guy that went to the Eagles, I think.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. The
Blinking on his
but he
name.
hasn't even played a lot. I think he got hurt. He's like,
Yeah.
he has not played a lot. I know what you're talking about though.
Mhm.
Yeah. The teams with the most Pro Bowlers is the Eagles at 8, Cowboys at 7, and Chiefs at 7. So there you go. There is your Pro Bowl roster breakdown. Thought we'd start with that just because I was more curious than anything. I just wanted to read through it. And I think Tua did lead all players in fan voting, but he didn't make the initial Pro Bowl roster. I thought the whole entire thing was just fan voting. How do you not make the roster if you're the number one person? That's weird. Oh,
I don't know.
fan voting is 1/3. Players get the other third, and coaches get the other third. So players and coaches did not think Tua deserved to be there. That's hilarious. The fans are like, "Oh my God, he's so good!" And wow,
He wobbles around so good when he's concussed.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's probably what the coaches are looking at. Like, how about we just not play him in an extra game this year? How's that sound?
Right.
Although it's flag football, so it doesn't really matter. But maybe
Right.
he just taking some extra time to rest. Alrighty. So if we're all set with Pro Bowl stuff, I think we're ready to dive into Week 15. What do you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to start with the Bills? I feel like I've done a lot of talking. I could use a break.
All right. I will give you a disclaimer.
Oh,
The
boy.
Bills did beat the Dolphins.
Did they not?
They did. The unfortunate part is I only saw very bits and pieces of this game
Why is that?
because I was at work.
Oh, yeah, the old Saturday game kind of screwed you over.
So I working Saturday afternoon, evening. I walked into a absolute disaster at work.
Ooh.
So long story short, the software we use for transportation went down nationwide.
Nationwide.
So yeah, this the company that the software that we use, they had an outage and it was nationwide. So I was planning all of the drivers' work. I was handing out drivers trip by trip. They were calling me every what seems like 5 minutes and just giving them what was next. So it was a very busy night to say the least. I was there till like 1:30 in the morning, trying to make sure the person who was relieving me was good to go.
What a nice guy.
And make sure they understood what I was doing, because the system was starting to come back up or it was coming up like shortly after I left. So, yeah, it was just a mess of a night. I didn't get to watch this game at all. I saw bits and pieces. I'd be like doing something and I hear, "Oh, touchdown!" and then I look up and I didn't see touchdown. And then I tried to watch the replay, and the phone would ring, and then
oh no,
so
it's always something. Man.
It has just been an absolute busy week for me already, and I know the Bills won. I know they didn't play great. The Dolphins could have beat the Bills. They could have won the game. Bills did what they had to do when the snow started falling, and got the win. When it counted. So, yeah, we'll get some of my matchups to watch here and other points, and we'll get move on. So, first matchup I would look to watch was the Bills' pass rush ability to disrupt Tua. Um, I think other than the Waddle touchdown, I think they did disrupt him a little bit. From what I could hear and what I could see, um, it wasn't as much as I probably would have liked from what I saw. Um, you know, definitely Cole, I think, had more of a factor to the Dolphins than I think the Bills did to the Dolphins. But there was some disruption there.
You had 2 sacks, so at least
Yeah.
you touched him a few times. That's a positive.
Right. So that was that. Second point here was the Bills getting to a more balanced attack on offense. They need to get to more of a run game on the first and second downs to keep the offense defense honest. That's funny because I don't think that happened at all, really.
No.
And if they did, it seemed like anytime I heard them saying that they were running the ball, it was only a gain of like 2 to 3 yards. It was the run game was not Bill's best friend. It seemed like on Saturday at all. Like they just couldn't get anything done. Josh Allen did his thing,
Right.
and was turned out to be AFC Offensive Player of the Week, which okay.
I mean, he threw 25 of 40 for 304 yards and 4 touchdowns, along with his 10 carries for 77 yards, and one of them was the 44-yarder that pretty much, didn't seal the game, set up that game tying touchdown drive, I believe, is near the end of the game. So
yeah, the game. I'm assuming the game tied to was it Dawson? I think it was the tied touchdown.
Yeah. So very clutch moments for Josh in this game.
Yes. When the run game can't do it, Josh does it himself.
It seems like a synopsis of like their whole season.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes takes it upon himself to get the job done. So,
very true.
I mean, he throws the ball, but Josh can use his legs. So, I think they're very similar. Let's see. Third point here was how much can the Bills secondary slow Waddle and Hill? I think outside of maybe 1 or 2 big plays, obviously the Waddle touchdown. Mm-hmm. The secondary was, I would say, doing a decent job. I think, I could guess here and say Trey White probably had one of his better games, still getting up to speed. I did not see who he was playing across from. Was it Dane Jackson or Kyer Elam? I know they're trying to get Elam back in the game flow better more. Not sure why they pulled him out of it necessarily, but I think other than DeMar Hamlin letting Jalen Waddle burn him over the middle, they made Miami fight for it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Waddle only had 3 catches on 7 targets, but it was for 114 yards because his catches were big chunk yards. Like all 3 of those catches were big catches. And then Tyreek Hill had 9 catches on 13 targets, but only had 69 yards. Very much like a possession reception kind of game for Tyreek. Like if he did catch the ball, it was an immediate tackle. There was someone always right there on him. Usually it was Trey White. Right. So I do agree. Trey White was standing on his head in this game. He was amazing in his more complete game back.
Right. So yeah, so that was my 3 points to 3 points to watch. Main points to watch. The other point here was looking to see how much the projected snowfall would affect the game plans. When I looked at it last week, they were only saying 2 to 4 inches, turned into about 1.5 feet of snow. So the Bills operations, or wherever they use for their parking lots and the field ground or field maintenance people, they had a busy Saturday because the snow fell from Thursday night through Friday, and I was actually in Buffalo the day after the game, and I was in the stadium, and they definitely got a lot of snow down there. Snow didn't really fall during the game until the end, like midway through the last quarter is when it seemed like it started to fall pretty heavily. Obviously, it was when like the Lick Effect band moved south on me, on the stadium, and that's when I think the Bills started to somehow get a spark. It seemed like when they decided to tie the game back up and
That
get the
snow
win.
gave them superpowers, dude. That's what I.
Superpowers.
That's like that's
In
what I
color rush
said,
uniforms too.
and that's what I said like during the game. As soon as the snow started falling, things
Hmm.
changed. Like you could see the shift in momentum with the snow. It was kind of weird.
Right.
Like I don't know if like listening to it was the same, but when the snow started falling, like you just saw the Bills making the plays and the Dolphins weren't. Like it was so weird to watch because it was like magic. The snow falls and we're just like
Right.
football, and they start like really playing now. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, um, obviously there was tons of snow in the stadium,
Where? Like
which
in the
caused for
stands?
in the stands, and people who had a few adult beverages, many people who had adult beverages or just wanted to have fun, were throwing snowballs onto the field, and it almost cost the Bills 15 yards. Which, ironically, that actually couldn't have been a thing because it would have been a made up rule, according to NFL officiating, that there is nothing for the attendees of the game to get penalized a team for their actions. So
Yeah, if they would have actually tried penalizing somebody, I
right.
don't know I feel like that was just a threat. Like they were really never ever going to throw a flag.
Oh, I'm sure.
If anything, if there was people going to continue throwing snowballs, then security's out and about, and they would have just been forced to remove people, which I'm sure they did. Possibly, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
I didn't hear reports of like how many people got forced out or anything, but there's no way they were actually going to throw a flag. 0% chance.
Right.
If they were, the moment they were going to throw a flag, if they were going to, was after Josh's 44-yard run, because he got pushed out of
Hmm.
bounds, and then which ensued like this giant fight right by the stands,
Right.
and there were
Oh yeah.
snowballs hitting everyone because all the players
Yeah.
are fighting, refs are trying to break it up, and everyone's just getting
Uh-huh.
pelted with snowballs. The fact
Hmm.
that they did not throw a flag in that moment was just like, I mean, you're not going to throw a flag. Just stop pretending
Right.
like you were ever going to do
Yep.
that.
So
Like, what was
yeah,
your thoughts
that
on the
is
snowballs? Like, did you think that was like a bad thing for like the fans to do? Like, were you like completely against them throwing snowballs?
wasn't great. I think do it once or twice, and then okay, we've had our fun. Let's be done with it. And I feel like when there's like hitting innocent cameramen or camera people, and
Yeah,
like it's just
one
like
guy got hit.
why,
The one
why,
guy in the
why
camera,
hurt
like up
the
in the thing, got like hit right in the back.
yeah, like if you don't have good aim, don't throw a snowball. Um, what was ironic was people were complaining on social media about why didn't the Bills clean out the seats better? They could have done it on Thursday or Friday. Well, you dummies, the snow didn't stop until Saturday morning.
Right. Like the field is a
You can't.
priority.
Right. They
Like
actually I thought they did a really good job with the field.
the
So
field was great. Like come game time, it looked like it didn't even snow on the field. It was great. They did a
right.
fantastic job. But
Yeah.
you can't expect there to be like a foot of snow in the stands, and they're just gonna go up there like, oh yeah, let's just get rid of this. Like, do you know how big stadiums are, people? Like, that's not just something. It's like, oh, let's just go up there with a
Right.
couple shovels and take care of it real quick. Like, what? No.
Yeah. So yeah. Um, Wish I could have been there, but Bills got the win, so that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. It's very true. Alrighty. Um, we don't have to spend too much time on the Seahawks game because it all pretty much boils down to maybe the Seahawks' worst defensive game of the season. And I mean that with everybody, even Tariq Woolen, because that second busted coverage touchdown by George Kittle was Tariq Woolen's assignment. And he tried to be very aggressive, and he saw a man going across the field. He was crossing. He tried to jump it, faked him out. George Kittle was left wide open behind him, and it resulted in that second touchdown. So everyone played bad. The entire defense, there was zero pass rush the entire night. Nobody was run defending. To be fair, we're down 3 interior linemen at this point. One's on IR now. Shelby Harris wasn't playing, and Monet's the one who went down on IR. And we also lost somebody else that went in there in relief. So we went down. It was just like everyone was screwed. So we couldn't stop the run, obviously. Zero pass rush. Couldn't cover a goddamn soul. Defense was atrocious. The fact that this game ended 21-13.
Right.
I watched a football game where it should have been 50-13. And the fact that it only ended up 21-13 is kind of weird in my eyes. I don't know how they only scored 21 points. in the way they scored those 21 points, like Christian McCaffrey's rushing touchdown and then like 2 completely blown coverages. Like it was embarrassing on defense. It was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. And then on the offensive side of the ball, no run game whatsoever. I think that was one of my points here. Like my second point was we got Ken Walker back, and I wanted the offensive line of tight ends to open up some lanes. And it's a tough challenge against the 49ers. They have like one of the best linebacking crews and like just front 7 in all of football. Yeah, he had 12 carries for 47 yards. Just awful. Just god awful. On the other side of the ball, defense couldn't stop anyone. 26 carries, 108 yards, and a touchdown for Christian McCaffrey. It was a bad day of football. And it was the same. It was like the same thing that happened the first time we faced the Niners. And now the Niners are better than they were in week 2. We got smoked in both of those games. So this is not shocking news. There was people all over social media and like on Twitter who were taking Seahawks money line, Seahawks +3. What do you think you're seeing? Like all these gambling people I follow, like, oh yeah, it's a Seahawks kind of night. No, it's not. You're going to be down bad if you're really putting money on the Seahawks tonight. So, I mean, the score doesn't reflect how badly they did get beat, but in my eyes, it was still one of the worst games of the season. The third point, more offensively, was I wanted to see Geno stay aggressive, but like less aggressive, be smart with the football. He didn't have an interception, or he did get strip sacked one time, but I think they recovered that fumble. The only turnover was Travis Homer's fumble that he got smoked and he fumbled the ball. So he didn't turn the ball over, but again, it's just like he's not being smart. He's given up on being a smart quarterback. I don't know why, because that was like his huge thing that like Seahawks fans loved about him in the first half of the season. He's not taking stupid sacks. He's being smart with the ball. He's being accurate. And he just forgot how to do that down the stretch. He's throwing weird passes. Some of them are getting picked off. He's like trying to be like prime Russell Wilson, where he's like spinning in the pocket trying to avoid sacks. Like, Geno, you're like a 31-year-old dude now. Throw the damn ball away. And it's put the Seahawks in a lot of bad spots in the past couple games, and it's why they are on like a 5-game losing streak right now. So it's unfortunate, but this might be making the decision easier for the Seahawks in the offseason of what they want to do at the quarterback position. I'll give them that. My other point, the playoff race ends here and the Niners win the division. Yep, that absolutely happened. And my favorite bet did not hit. The train has stopped. Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns. This is the first time this season he's thrown 1 passing touchdown in a game. It was either 2 or more or 0. In this game, he threw 1. First time this season. Very disappointing.
Oh.
It's not shocking, but whatever. So it just the Seahawks sit at 7-7 outside the playoff picture. They're gonna need a miracle pretty much to get in at this point. I think I feel like they have to win out if they're gonna want a chance, because they're basically fighting with the Lions and they're tailing the Commanders right now, who have a game and a half on them. So it seems unlikely.
It does sound a little unlikely, unfortunately, but I think that's what you expected this year from the Seahawks. I think was a little bit of hope, and then you knew that you were going to get let down, not gently, but just dropped off a cliff and hope for the best. It makes me wonder if Gino's not as smart as he seems on the field because defenses are now adjusting to his play style. And he's not seeing things like he used to on the field.
I mean, it's likely.
And
No
the
one's watched
offensive,
Geno Smith play football in like 7 years, so I mean that's very likely.
right. So maybe maybe this is the same Geno Smith we've had the entire season, but now defenses have figured him out.
And the Seahawks have gone through their share of injuries. The
Right.
defense has been bad, and it's messed with offensive game plans because they're playing from behind constantly. The whole thing's falling apart. If they gave Geno another year, if they franchise tag him, or like Geno gives them some weird deal where it's like a 2-year deal but relatively cheap, like I'm not going to say no to that. Geno has played
Right.
pretty well, and I think if the defense wasn't absolute trash, we would be in a playoff spot. I believe that.
Yeah.
But I don't want this team to think that Geno Smith is going to be the guy that's going to win a Super Bowl with us. Like if we rebuild the rest of the team, draft all defensive players, spend a bunch of money on defense, and get this fixed, I still don't trust Geno to get me to the end. I need someone else back there ready to come in. Like I need the future to be behind him because I don't think he is. Just age wise, even.
Yeah.
So as depressing as all of that was, let's go ahead and look into week 16 where we actually have some pretty fun matchups coming up. I'm excited to see how week 16 goes. So let's start with the Bills heading to a very cold Chicago Bears stadium.
Yes. The Bills are 9-point favorites against the Chicago Bears, and they will be playing at Soldier Field, which leads me to my first matchup to watch here is the frigid weather conditions that they're going to be expecting. The temperature is currently forecasted to be 9 degrees at game time, but with the wind still continuing to subside during the day, the fielding temperature is actually going to be -15. So that field is going to feel like concrete because of how cold it is. So that is definitely player safety for sure. Not the first time we've had this cold of a game, actually in Chicago. So it will be a very, very cold game for sure. One thing you'll probably hear about, I can almost guarantee you the one thing you're going to hear in this broadcast is they're going to talk about how there isn't water on the sidelines. There is chicken broth or vegetable broth on the sidelines because of how cold it is.
Yes.
And they're going to say how that stays warmer and doesn't freeze on the sidelines.
Can I bet on this in FanDuel? Like how many times, like over under
of broth.
Yeah, mentioning of broth or like hot water or something like that. 100%.
So, yeah, that's going to be, it's going to hurt to tackle people, but, we pay these guys millions of dollars to do. So, get her done.
Embrace the suck.
Yep. Let's see. Second play here. After the close win, grinding it out, getting it done when it mattered, with the Bills over the Dolphins last week. It's really looking to see have the Bills figured out how to be a dominating offense again. The Bills started out the season dominating over the Rams and the Titans, and granted, look at those teams now and be like,
kind of makes sense.
Good wins than we thought. I thought the grinding of the game last week, getting going down and then, getting the time touchdown, then, being able to, stop the Dolphins when it mattered and get them down the field and get the kickoff to, take the win, at the end of the game. It's really just these are just dress rehearsals basically for the Bills for the playoffs. Like this is the Bills getting these teams close, and not faltering. Like what I think what many I think Bills Mafia is scarred with, from years of them playing a team close, going up and then trailing late in the game and then not being able to get the job done. And the Bills have been able to do that for the most part this year. There's been a couple games where this hasn't worked out. That's why they have 3 losses. But I think this time of year, being able to overcome those close games is what is going to help them kick off their playoff run, I would say, for the most part. So I hopefully the Bills can win. Like I would take like a 35-7 kind of game would be kind of nice.
Be nice.
I'd also take a 14-10 win or a 21-10 win.
I think 21-10 would be good.
I would take that because it gives them 11 points, gives them a 2 touchdown. It's a 2-score possession. It's kind of like they scored enough points to get ahead, and the Bears just weren't doing anything, and the Bills were able to kind of pinch down and really shut the Bears offense down. So I would that'd be like what I would like to see, but I feel like we haven't seen it in a while. Obviously the Patriots game, they had a pretty good clamp on the Patriots there, but it seems like every other game lately it's been closer.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be tough. I mean the gosh darn Bears just they made a pretty close game there with just the Eagles. The 13-1 Eagles, they made that a game. So I mean this is a Bears team that you can't just expect to, oh yeah, let's go in there and drop 50 on them. It's like, let's just clamp them down. It's going to be tougher than I think a lot of people.
It will be tough. Does make me, I think with the game against the Eagles being so close, it does make me wonder how the Eagles are doing though. At the time,
we've definitely seen the Eagles stumble here and there, especially against lesser opponents. I mean, they only beat the Colts 17-16 a couple weeks ago there.
They lost to the Commanders.
They lost. Well, I mean, it's always those damn NFC East divisional games.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in those games. Literally anything.
Right.
It's always been like that. I mean, the Eagles could have been 16-0 and they still could have lost to the Giants. That's just how. Maybe not the Giants. They kind of pooped on them twice. So we'll just stick with the Commanders. The Commanders. I mean, anything can happen in those games. It's crazy.
Yeah. So my last point here, my matchups to watch is, can this Bills defense stop the Bears run game, including containing Justin Fields? I think that's going to be very important for the Bills this weekend because Justin Fields they have plays designed for Fields to just run the ball, similar to Josh Allen. Is Justin Fields as good as Josh Allen? No. And I don't know if it's just from what I'm remembering, am I missing something? But the Bills have really actually played pretty well against very mobile quarterbacks lately.
I'd have to look into that because I'm not sure. I mean, they played well against Lamar, but or like week 4.
Right.
I mean, that was one of your bigger challenges when you face Lamar Jackson. They handled him pretty well. I believe they handled Patrick Mahomes pretty well. He's not as mobile as some others, but I mean, he can be a problem. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers though. That's a good question. I guess we'll see after this weekend. We'll revisit that question on next week when we record.
Yeah, for sure. My other point here, going back to the weather conditions, the last time the Bills played in conditions like this, that were forecast this weekend, they were actually playing the Patriots in last year's playoffs game on Wild Card Weekend, and we all know how that game played out.
It played out so well. It was so good. It was such a good game.
It was magnificent.
had to deal with some brutal conditions, but it was a good game.
Mm-hmm. And favorite bet here is a Josh Allen anytime touchdown at a nice 135.
That's a good bet. That's a good bet. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll probably tail that come Saturday. I like that. It is Saturday, right? This is on Saturday?
It is a Saturday because this weekend is Christmas.
Yay! How fun. I believe both these games are on Christmas Eve. And we only have we have the worst 3-game slate on Christmas, I think maybe ever. Like what
I think so too.
Like someone did say to me, like, you know, at the beginning of the season, this might have been like a good lineup, which is fair. I think 2 out of 3 of them, if things panned out how they were, you know, originally thought they would have, these might have been good games. The Buccaneers and Cardinals, I don't think ever would have been a good game. That was a bad decision. I don't.
That one's gonna be so bad.
Yeah, that's bad. We have
we're getting Trace McSorley for the Cardinals.
For the Cardinals, yeah, that's right, because they already ruled out Colt.
Yep.
So this is just going to be, I mean, I'm sure Bucs fans will be fine with it. They'll celebrate their Christmas with the Buccaneers defense pooping on Trace McSorley. I'm sure they'll have a blast.
I mean, I'm not saying Trace McSorley is terrible.
He's not good though.
But he's not great.
Our other 2 games are the Packers at the Dolphins, which
I'm looking forward to that one.
Are you? Are you looking forward to Aaron Rodgers getting his butt kicked on Christmas?
Well, he might.
He might. Wait a minute. Is this like a hot take you got here?
I don't know. I think the Packers could win this one.
Really?
They're going to Miami.
True.
And playing in the nice warm weather. There's a possibility there. You know, the Dolphins could be stumbling a little bit.
Okay.
The Dolphins have lost the last 3 games.
That's true.
Something's not going right. Mike McDaniel might be getting antsy to try and change something up.
Okay. I'll remember this. I probably won't remember this, but I'll try to remember this.
Because I'm probably completely wrong, but it just feels like an option.
Yeah, and I get it. And the Packers are 2-5 away, and the Dolphins are 5-1 at home this season. So I mean, I guess it's not impossible. We'll see. We'll see.
The Dolphins. I mean, the Packers got to win out to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
we can't have Aaron Rodgers last season as a Packer not make the playoffs.
We absolutely can. I would be fine.
We can.
Yeah, we can.
And the rest of the country will probably be fine. Like the Packers are going to be playing extra hard this weekend. Is what I'm saying.
I get it. Okay. All right. That's fair. Okay. I accept that as a possible reality.
But to your point, Sunday's games are pretty much garbage.
Yeah, depending on how that one goes, and then we have the Broncos at the Rams.
That one we're gonna call nap time and dessert.
Yep. If you haven't opened presents yet, or like someone's coming over, like make sure if you got family coming over for dinner, do it during the 4. Like have them show up at like 4, and then like you can watch the end of the Packers Dolphins game. And then, like, you can eat dinner and open presents for, like, the next, 3.5 hours. Even the Buccaneers and Cardinals game, just have them all night. You're fine. Like, this slate sucks. Like, I guess, like, maybe they did this on purpose. Like, hey, guys, stop watching football. Go spend time with your damn families. That's what this slate says to me. This is the NFL telling us, go spend time with your family on Christmas. That's what they're doing.
The crazy thing is, I don't know other games you'd put on Christmas Day.
What do we got? Eagles and Cowboys.
Like,
put Eagles Cowboys on Christmas. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, damn. That would have been so much better. That is true. Put the Commanders
and
Niners.
Put that at 4 o'clock.
The Commanders and Niners I'd rather see. It might not be great, Patriots. But... Which one?
Bengals and Patriots. Let Joe Burrow give Cincinnati a beautiful Christmas present.
Yeah, okay.
Of a shellacking against the Patriots.
All right, so let's find a replacement for all of these. I want Eagles, Cowboys in the 8 o'clock slot. Eagles, Cowboys at 8:20.
That would work. It's NFC East. So
we'll do Bengals, Patriots at the 1 o'clock slot. Because that could turn into a shellacking, and I don't want that at 4. I'll do that as the first game. That's fine.
Right.
We need a 4 o'clock game. I mean, I would not hate to see the Bills and Bears. I think that'd be fun. At least you have two mobile
That could be fun at
quarterbacks.
4.
I think it would be fun. That would
I don't know
be
if Commanders Niners would be good at 4. I mean, it's at 4 o'clock on Saturday, but like 4 o'clock on
yeah.
Sunday with like everyone watching.
I feel like I'm
Maybe
leaning towards 49ers Commanders, but my like
or
1A would be Commanders and 49ers and 1B would be Bears and Bills.
I was gonna say or Raiders Steelers at 4 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock Saturday night.
I don't want to see the Steelers on Christmas. I don't.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like I don't care about the time slots on these. I want the best matchups.
Okay.
Like I don't want to see the Steelers. If the Raiders were playing like almost literally anyone else, I'd be like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like the Raiders are kind of fun. I don't want to watch the Steelers on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So this Christmas slate sucks is generally where we're getting at here. And then Monday Night Football's Chargers and the Colts. Yay, we get to watch the goddamn Colts again. Fantastic. Good job, everybody. We didn't do it. Real quick here, let's wrap up this show with some Seahawks at the Chiefs business. The Chiefs are 10-point favorites currently. This could be an interesting game, you know. The Chiefs just got done going and playing the Texans, and they had to go to OT against them. The Chiefs defense has had some problems as of late. Like the Chiefs defense is nowhere near where it should be, but that's mainly because they spent all their money on their offensive line, which still isn't even that top tier. It's a good offensive line that's gotten better as the season's gone on, which we expected. So because they're like all new players for the team. But both of these defenses are very leaky, which is my first matchup point here. I think this game could potentially come down to which defense is going to make less mistakes in the fourth quarter. Because, like, you know, in the Buccaneers-Bengals game, like, the Buccaneers were in charge, but then they turned the ball over 4 times in the third quarter. Like, which defense is going to do that for their team in the Chiefs and Seahawks game? Like, which defenses can go out there and get like a turnover or two and turn the tides in their favor? Because I think this could be a close game early on, and then it's just going to be a matter of which defense is going to suck less. Because I think both of them are garbage, but they got to be opportunistic down the stretch. Which I'll get to. That heavily leans into the bet I'm taking for this game. I'm taking over 49.5 points easily. I think that's free money. I think this line should be like in the 50s. I think this should be closer to like 54.5. So as long as the line stays out of the 50s, I'll take it. Let's see here. The second point I had was the offensive line has been trending in the wrong direction down the stretch as well. That includes our rookie tackles in Abe Lucas and Charles Cross. I'm going to need to see a lot of the issues come from the interior. Phil Haynes is one of the worst centers in the league currently, graded by PFF. And then they have like this weird rotation of Damian Lewis and the other asshole who sucks at football. Like the interior of the offensive line has been absolutely atrocious. I just want Geno to be able to. I want a classic Geno game from like between weeks like 4 and 8. You know, I want to see him just drop back and dish passes. I don't want him to have to run for his life because that's what he's had to do these past couple of weeks, and it's obviously resulting in losses. I just want to see Geno be a little bit more comfortable back there, and that obviously starts with the pass rush in the offensive line doing its job. And then the third matchup here is actually something I think no one's talking about right now. It's the battle of the rookie running backs. Like we've already said that both defenses kind of suck right now. I mean, obviously the Seahawks defense, especially their run game, is the worst of the two here. So Ken Walker's probably going to have to work a little bit harder than Isaiah Pacheco, if that's how you say his name. Pacheco? That sounds more right. I like that. So I kind of want to see Jerick McKinnon. Jerick McKinnon has a very prominent role in this offense. Obviously, he scored like 3 weeks straight now. But I want to see a lot of Isaiah versus Kenneth Walker. Like, which rookie running back is going to have the big run if one of them gets a big run that's going to like help their team win? Like, who's going to make the big move? I think that's a fun little matchup to watch in my eyes. There's a couple of rookie running backs, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
My other point here was the teams. I saw this on Twitter. I thought this was kind of bizarre. Teams are 3-10 after beating the Texans the following week. So if you beat the Texans, you're 3-10. So is it going to be 4-10 or 3-11 after this week? It's kind of weird. Like, what's the factor in that?
I mean, I don't think most of the Texans games have gone as close and as bizarre, I think, as the Texans Chiefs game last week.
Yeah.
Like that could have also been the Cowboys game week before.
Right, exactly.
You know, Cowboys got it done, 98-yard drive to win the game. Chiefs had the Chiefs and Texans had to go use overtime. And then it was on a, giant McKinnon play for the touchdown that, gave the Chiefs the win. But like the Texans were really, laying it out there to get the win. So
they've definitely found some like weird motivation these past 2 weeks in Houston. Yeah. I don't know why. Like, because maybe it's just the teams they've played, like the Battle of Texas when they play the Cowboys, and then like they're playing the Chiefs, which is obviously like a pretty big deal. You get to play the Chiefs,
right?
So I mean, I don't know. It seems kind of weird, like the way the Texans are playing right now, because up before before those 2 weeks, they lost to the Browns 27-14. They got shellacked by the Dolphins 30-15. Commanders 23-10, Giants 24-16, Eagles 29-17. Titans was a little bit closer at 17-10. Raiders 38-20, and then their only win of the season was Jaguars 13-6. And then they got shellacked 3 weeks previous to that, and then they tied the Colts in week 1. I mean, they've been a bad team all year. So up until these last 2 games, they have the number 1 pick. Yeah. Oh, they got that. They got that locked in hard. Hardcore locked in.
Oh,
so
for sure.
Yeah. I think the Seahawks lose a close game against the Chiefs, I think. If I had to take a second bet, if I wanted to parlay the over 49.5 points, I would probably take the Seahawks plus 10. I kind of feel like they can keep this close if they can keep Geno clean.
Right.
Because, like I said, the Chiefs' defense is not that great, and the offense has shown the ability to score points on bad defenses. So I think they can keep it close.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, the Chiefs had a 27-0 lead on the Broncos and let them come back without question. So Chiefs definitely have an issue on their defensive side. But no one in the national media is going to say that.
Oh, no, they definitely won't keep that on the down low. Yep, 100%. They can't. Because you saw it all over social media, like, oh my God, the Chiefs are up 27-0. But then, like, the media went silent as the Broncos slowly crept back into the game. Like, oh, we're not seeing much about the Chiefs anymore on social media.
Right.
And then, the very last thing here to bring up is we had 12 teams in the Derf and Dylan's League of D-Gens. The other 10 will not be in the finals. The fans of the Weiss, Derf and Dylan's D-Gen League, the final will be against Derf and Dylan.
Yep.
Obviously, this was not on purpose, but here we are.
I mean, you lost one game, so you're like the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm the Eagles because I'm also beat up heading into the next game. Like Jalen Hurts is beat up,
right?
Who's actually my quarterback? Who's beat up.
I don't know who I'd be because I ended the season 0-3 and finished 8-5.
That's impressive.
I turned it around pretty good there.
It's how you finish, not how you start.
Exactly. Took down the defending champ.
Yep.
Last week, so
the actual defending champ, and that's actually the name that he used for our league.
The team, yeah.
Very cocky of him. I appreciate that.
But yeah, it's down to the finals for us.
Here we are. And then in my other league, I'm in the semifinals, but I have to go up against Eric, who already shellacked me once this year.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm not expecting to win this game and go to the finals, but anything can happen. So
Anything could happen.
I guess I'll just have to sit by and see what happens. I would love to take him down, but it's a tall task. It's going to be a tall ask of my
I'm
team.
sure.
And plus my team is not suited this week to beat him. I kind of want to take a quick peek just because I don't have Lamar Jackson still. He's not pending to play. I got David Montgomery, which seems like a good matchup, but like Justin Fields could just take off, and also Khalil Herbert is coming back off of IR for this game as well, so he's gonna have to share carries this week. Ken Walker could get me some good points. We have Jamar Chase. I would feel better about this if Jamar Chase was at home, but unfortunately he has to go to New England. He does not play as well on the road. Like the Joe Burrow Jamar Chase connection at home is unstoppable. On the road, we have DeAndre Hopkins, which is like a complete shit show right now. He's gonna have Trace McSorley throwing to him, and then I got Deontay Johnson, which he's actually been playing pretty well lately. So we'll see how that goes. I have no one on my bench. I have no options, so that's literally all I have. So I might post something to Twitter about our matchup. Derf and Dylan in the finals here of the Derf and Dylan Fantasy Football League, and see who you guys think will win. And then we'll make our decision. I get it'll be on the show regardless because we don't have to bring anyone else on to make the decision for the loser.
Right.
Like we're already here. The loser was Shane, the horny gnome himself. He is the loser. Yeah. So he will be punished. I have a couple of ideas. We'll talk about it, but I'm going to need you to bring your top 3 punishment ideas to the show next week.
Okay.
And then I'll bring my top 3, and we'll see if some of them line up maybe. And then maybe I'll reach out to Shane and see if he wants to join us on the show and he can accept his punishment live. On the recording.
On the recording, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get that put together. It'll be a fun week next week. But for this week, this was the final say here for episode 16 of Fans of Luis from your hosts,
Derf
and Dylan. Go Hawks.
Go Bills.